Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV, and we're here to bring you Flatline Racing Bodies, hometown heroes here at the Huset Speedway. Up first on the docket, your A&J Custom Creations midget division here, and Blake Chapman has been the absolute talk of the town here in this class. Of course, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a good... There we go. That 20 machine. Blake Chapman, big lead last week, got involved with a lap car, lost that lead, and the Desert Demon Terry Landis brought it home. But if not for a mistake, Blake Chapman has been in his own world in these things, ripping around the bottom here on Wednesday nights. I only highlight that because there is a man here who may be able to try and replicate this. The Ant-Man in the 32. Anthony Morano. He can run that bottom. We're going to see him practice it a little bit now. I'll tell you, he's going to need to do it a little better than that, and that's no shot at Anthony because Anthony does it 10 times better than I could do it. But with the way we've seen Blake woe that thing down and rip around the inside, that is where you're going to want to be, barring some unforeseen track conditions. But Terry Landis, we talked about it, went well last week, back in the Jeter scheme again, needs to keep the purple colors flying. He's ripping that outside right now as the Desert Demon. Maybe doesn't want to show his hand, doesn't want to beat up the bottom here early on. I imagine that 161 will go down low when it comes go time. Only a minute or two away here from rolling into qualifying. Pretty good race here. Dino pulling out. Dino doesn't run these midgets a lot. No, well, that's another thing, you know, I didn't highlight here. 22 guys. When's the last time you looked at this thing and we were running 22 cars in the midgets? I can tell you when. It hasn't happened all season. I've been here. Awesome. Getting some boys to come out and play here tonight. And, you know, Steven Spees isn't out here. None of the Gambler teammates are out here of mine. So we could get this thing up a little bit. Gotta get on those boys. So let's get a B main rolling in this thing here before the season rolls out. Let's plop that down off our screen. Let's see who pulls out first on the racetrack. And actually, well, Dino gets off pulls on pit road, but not the first person to get off. Should have known. No, it's not Brandon Templeton. We saw Brian Moore Sr. He was ahead. Brian Moore Sr. missed it Wednesday night. One of the first people I've ever seen to beat Brandon Templeton off pit road. As he rolls around here through 3 and 4 on the opening lap. What are we going to see here? Purple taken away there by Brandon Templeton. B-Temp at the top of the charts in the 31. Brandon's been really quick here. Look at him rip the inside. Loses the rear end coming off of 4, though, and all that speed. Bye-bye. As the 5-8 team drives on by. Quick time. Oh, man, but the mayor, Steve Bixler, sitting up top on the charts right now, able to outdo Blake Chapman, but Blake Chapman comes around, and he answers with a right hook of his own. The 20 of Blake Chapman, looking to sell some popcorn later. Currently, your quick time. 21 drivers have put in a time. Putt, Clay Christopherson has not put in a time. Not sure if he maybe just registered for the session. Maybe backed out, isn't going to qualify. We'll see what happens with the 051. And, well, he's going to pull out now. I think he's going to run out of time, though. We'll have to see. He's going to have to go if he wants to get this qualifying effort in. Only 2 minutes. And if we see him disappear, that will be the problem. Just running out of time. And there he goes. Putt, able to get into the first lap, but not able to put a time in. And just like that, qualifying is over, and we're ready to go into heat race number 1. You saw him there, not getting that qualifying lap to count. So the 051 of Clay Christopherson rounds out your field on the outside of row number 4. And to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. The Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, lines up on the outside of row number 3. And to his inside, Joe Mossow. Row number 2 to the outside, the 20 of Blake Chapman. And to his inside, $100,000, Joseph Grandy. Row number 1 for heat race number 1 on the outside, the 32 of the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. And starting on the pole, the 44 of Jacob Mossow. We get ready here, heat race number 1 set to go off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 underway. Let's go play. My apologies there. I had to reset that overlay as Mossow running around up front. The Ant-Man on the top shelf. Blake Chapman trying to find a way to overcome getting that pole position. You know, they invert the top 4. He's looking at 3 good drivers ahead of him, and he's just looking to find an open lane. Downstairs all by himself as Joseph Grandy floats up. Gets into Jacob Mossow. Jacob Mossow, it lands on all 4. But that's going to be all she wrote in heat race number 1. As Blake Chapman looking to the inside, 3 wide as they come across the start-finish line. Grandy really slams it down in there. Blake's got to be smart. He was gets out of the throttle early, gonna let Joe slide up. He's gonna try to hold it. The Ant-Man looks in the middle. This is heat race number 1, and we're already battling 3 wide. Ready to watch that white flag fly one more trip around. Blake's trying to get it done, but Joseph Grandy proven to be a tough task out front. Maybe used a little force to get there, but hasn't looked back. Final time through 3 and 4. The salesman on the bottom can't get it done. Joseph Grandy wins heat race number 1, followed by Blake Chapman, Anthony Morano, Jeff Barker, Clay Christopherson, Bob DeGood, Joe Mossow, and Jacob Mossow. Heat race number 2, starting on the inside of row number 4, the 888 of Steve Maurer. Row number 3 on the high side, the 56 of Randy Shreves, and to his inside, the general in the 87, Andy Patton. Row number 2 to the outside, the mayor, Steve Bixler, and to his inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row number 1 for heat race number 2 in your A&J Custom Creations Midget Sprints. On the outside, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. And to his inside, the 89, Mason hit him with the hind. It wants to stack up again here. Not too sure why it's doing that. We may have to do a little reset here after this heat race. I think that's what's going to be in the cards for us. My apologies for that, but hey. I am not a tech guy. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Mason drops the hammer, and heat race number 2 is underway. 3 wide, B-Temp downstairs looking to take the early lead. Can he get it done in 3 and 4 as the 2 battle hard behind? Brian Moore with a big run off the top shelf. Not gonna go away that easy, he says. He's coming back, and the 055 takes the lead here on lap number 2. Andy Patton and Randy Shreves running real close. Randy trying to find a way around that 87. But the general reeling in that fishing rod here. He's coming closer every lap to the 75 of Steve Bixler. He'd like to put himself into the top 4. Normally, top 4 make the show. No B-main tonight. Everyone's going to make it. So we're just racing for our starting feature spots. 1.5 laps to go here. The 055 of Brian Moore Sr. looking smooth, but Brandon Templeton sending it in low. White flag flies. One more trip around. Brian Moore, final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag waves in the 055. It's going to start on the outside of the front row for tonight's feature. Brandon Templeton 2nd, Mason Hine 3rd, Andy Patton 4th, Randy Shreves 5th, Steve Maurer 6th, and the mayor, Steve Bixler, with some trouble coming in at the tail end of the field. As we get ready for heat race number 3, final heat race of the night for the A&J Custom Creations Midget Sprint Cars. Rounding out the field on the inside of row number 4, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross. The 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds, lines up on the outside of row number 3, and to his inside, the 98 of Michael Farmer. The Hitman, Jack Hitt, lines up on the outside of row number 2, and to his inside, the 187 of Rick Main. Row number 1 for your 3rd and final heat race on the outside. Last week's feature winner in the 161, the Desert Demon Terry Landis. And to his inside, the 444 of Scott Rayone. We'll see here. I forgot to reset that, so we'll reset it for you guys at least. I know the paint jobs by now. We roll into 3 and 4 here for the final time. The Steve King Foundation Pace Truck is gone. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play. Heat race number 3 underway. Early contact between Dean Reynolds and I believe that was Terry Landis out making the move here for the lead. It was close contact as Rick Mayne gets into the outside wall going down the front stretch. That allows Terry Landis to come back with a big run. Jack Hitt looking for P2. The Desert Demon hooks that inside, but looky who Rick Mayne counters back side by side. 3 wide coming out of 2. Rick Mayne looking to take advantage of all that grip downstairs in the middle of the corner, but Terry won't let him float on exit, and he takes the lead here at the halfway point. 3 laps left to play. Michael Farmer, he got up on the top shelf there, and I guess that wasn't Dino, that was Mike Farmer. I'm used to Dino running those black cars, so that was Farmer with the early contact there on lap number 1. Dino in the red and white Toyota as Terry Landis, white flag in the air, one more time around for the Desert Demon. Hooking up the whole time, smooth as silk, down low, little bit of throttle, checkered flag waves, and the Desert Demon takes home heat race number 3, followed by Jack Hitt, Rick Mayne, Dean Reynolds, Scott Rayo, Michael Farmer, and Donovan Ross. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your A&J Custom Creations Midget feature. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. About ready to get set with your A&J Custom Creations Midget feature, but you saw a little bit there. The Coast to Coast Racing League and Extreme eSpeed TV proudly present the 2nd annual Coast to Coast Speed Week, with all proceeds benefiting the Steve King Foundation. Join us for an adrenaline-fueled journey. 2 tracks, 10 cars, 10 races, $500 in payouts, along with door prizes. Sunday, February 16th to Thursday, February 20th. Go to C2CRL.com to register. As we get ready, take a look here at our starting grid here. Let's look at the rundown. Starting on the outside of row number 11 in the 44, Jacob Mossow into his inside, Devo Donovan Ross. Outside of row number 10, the Mayor Steve Bixler into his inside, the 19 of Joe Mossow. Number 98 of Michael Farmer lines up on the outside of row number 9 into his inside, the 888 machine of Steve Maurer. Bob DeGood takes the 7 and lines up on the outside of the 444 of Scott Rayom, their row number 8. And just up the road on the outside of row number 7, the 56 of Randy Shreves into his inside, putt-putt, Clay Christopherson. Dino takes the 79 and lines up on the outside of row number 6, and to his inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. The Brewerton Beast in the 513 lines up on the outside of row number 5, and to his inside, the 187 of Rick Main. Row number 4 to the high side in the 89. Mason hit him with the hind. And to his inside, the 32 of the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Row number 3, the 217 of the Gentleman Jack hit. And to his inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row number 2 got a pair of teammates to the high side, the 20, Blake Chapman, into his inside, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 1 for your A&J Custom Creations Midget Sprint event. To the outside, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. And starting on the pole, the 518 of $100,000, Joseph Grandy. As the drivers roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. We're underway. Brian Moore Sr. trying to come back with a counter. Terry Landis trying to float it down low. Who's going to make it work? He comes up a little bit. Wild ride for Mr. Wednesday night. Early caution here at the Huset Speedway. Wild ride, and Brian Moore Sr. gonna wish he could hit the reset button. Let's ride on board here with the 055. Doesn't see it till late. Can't get out of the throttle, and the 055 runs up over the right rear and hard into that wall. So we'll see if we can go in the Chapman Racing drone camera here. Take a peek. I mean, you know, he's got it. It's a late slider, but he's clear, and it's one of them, you know, it's easy for me to sit up here and say it, but you back out of that throttle, you live to race another lap, and, you know, maybe the 055 can finish in the top 5 here tonight, but, man, it is going to be an uphill climb. Is on pit road early. Definitely not the place you want to be as you see the lights still blinking around the speedway. We'll go around at least one more time here before we take the green flag and get back rolling. Joseph Grandy on the high side, the Desert Demon to the inside. His teammate right behind him, the salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20. Who you got? I forgot to make my pick, but I think you could tell by my intro, you know, I was going to pick the salesman, Blake Chapman, until somebody can prove me wrong. You just got to think that he's got the hot hand right now running in 3rd place. But you can't sleep on those drivers in the front row as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Joseph Grandy drops the hammer, and we're back underway. Blake looking to the inside, trying to make quick work of his teammate Terry Landis. So far does just that. Is the two up front. Brandon Templeton, he's trying to get up there and play with the 518. Gonna be tough to pass. You may not be able to play nice. What does the 31 do here as we watch him come off of 4? Not able to get there, but Terry Landis goes around. You saw it sing. Oh, man, look at him over there. Wild ride. I didn't want to change it away. Oh, man, we saw it happen. Terry Landis gets into the outside wall. Someone else follows him. And just like that, man, it really took off here. Let's see. We're going to just sit it right here. Terry's the first one. Then old Rick Mayne behind him. Then Andy Patton comes in. 3 cars do the same thing. Nowhere for some of them to go. And big pile up here in 1 and 2. Dino involved. Lots of cars involved. Randy Shrees end over end. It's him and Terry Landis not able to land on all 4s. And having to deal with that tow time, such a small racetrack, you gotta think that's gonna be all she wrote for those 2 drivers. Plenty of time here if they could get out of the pits and stay on the lead lap, but that's the problem. With the tow time, it's not. You almost need another caution right away if you want to stay on that lead lap. So, gonna need some help here. Lights are off on the Steve King Foundation pace truck, and we should go back racing this time. Can Brandon Templeton find a way to get around the 518? Can Blake Chapman get around the both of them here? Is the gentleman Jack hit on the outside of row number 2? It's about to get exciting here at the Huset Speedway. 20 laps to play. Joseph Granny drops the hammer, and we're back racing. Look at the gentleman right up there on that top shelf trying to make it groove and make a move here. They're trying to split B-Temp. Blake to the inside. Now Jack thinking better. Got to cut down. But, man, that was close. Mason Hine able to get around. I believe that was the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. That was close racing going in through 1 and 2. Oh, no. Brandon Templeton, our race leader, wrecks in front of the field. And we've got a lot of tore-up race cars here at the Huset Speedway. And then we got a car. I couldn't tell. Devo, maybe the throttle got stuck on that thing here. Let's go back, take a look, and see what happened here. Started with Brandon Templeton, I believe. Blake Chapman, side by side. Blake keeping it on the bottom. There's going to be no contact. B-Temp does this by himself. Gets the right rear in the outside wall. Loops it around. We got the 75 of Steve Bixler. He's also on the inside. The 444, Scott Rayom, nowhere to go. He slaps in. Devo, he's bouncing off the wall already. He gets into it. And let's watch Devo from here. I think he keeps this thing pinned. Yeah, he kept that thing pinned, I think, and well, yeah, no big deal. I mean, you're already wrecking, probably not a lot of damage done, but I mean, kept it pinned, able to do a backflip. Keep it going. Let's watch that one more time. Let's watch the whole thing from Devo here. Two of them, man. Stuck both landings. Impressive for Devo. I believe the Steve King Foundation pace truck is off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 17 laps to go here at the Huset Speedway in a caution-filled midget sprint race. Blake knows he's going to need a long green flag run. He wants to get around the 518, maybe not that long as he looks to the inside. Drivers looking to battle here early. Blake Chapman got that lead down to 0.2 of a second as Joseph Grandy rips the outside. Really trying to bang down the wall. How long will he be able to keep up that pace, and how long will the tread stay on the tires? Joseph Grandy really do or die up there right now, throwing the clay. The gentleman trying to make a move on the salesman. Blake Chapman, Jack hit to the outside as we have a wreck on the front stretch. Terry Landis involved, I believe. The other car, the General Andy Patton in the 87. Let's see if we can get a look, see if we can diagnose what happened. Your feature winner last week is having a night to forget here tonight. The Desert Demon Terry Landis just not going his way in the 161. So Andy gets into the wall in front of him. Terry follows him up, bounces the right rear off, and not able to turn back under. Because of the contact, the car was tight. Gets into the 87, and they go around. The caution flag flies once again. A lot of racing still yet to come here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network this evening. We've got the 360 sprints up next, and then to cap off the night, as always, the 410s here at Huset Speedway. If you're out there watching, let us know who you're rooting for here tonight. Let's get that chat box going. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. You know who you got here tonight, who your favorite paint job is. There's Joseph Grandy. Not yet at the halfway point, looking to drop that hammer one more time. 13 laps to go as Joseph Grandy leads the field into turn number 1. Clay Christopherson making his way up through the field. He started 13th, up to 5th, looking for 4th. Can putt, do exactly that. Putt his way around the basement to the front. Got a tough task, that 89 of Mason Hine, looking pretty good right now in that middle groove. They need to make a mistake in order to allow that 051 to go on by. As the laps click down, the race starts to rage up front. Jack hit, looking for P2 as the caution flag flies. One more time. Couldn't tell who was the culprit of that one. Maybe possibly Rick Main, I'm seeing. If he did a 360 and kept going, or if he ballparked it out. Let's take a look here at this white machine. That's exactly what he did, 360. He decides enough. Oh, never mind. Just lagged there for a second. Hits the brakes, comes back. Both drivers roll on, but the 888 is Steve Maurer and Rick Main. Your two cars involved. Your leader here in the 518, Joseph Grandy. Feeling good right now. Suit's a little dirty, helmet's pretty clean. He's got to the front early and is just trying to stay there. Can the 518 lead the field the rest of the way? We're going to be down to 10 to go here when we do take the green flag. Starting to run out of grip. Drivers searching, looking for the line that suits them the best. And this is going to be your chance to make a move if you're Jack hit. Blake Chapman's been struggling a little bit. Can the gentleman get up here and contend for the lead? Can Clay Christopherson find a way to get himself into the top 4 and maybe flirt with the podium as we roll through 3 and 4 Joseph Grandy drops the hammer one more time. Great restart for the gentleman. He looks to roll that high side and get a run on Blake Chapman right away. But Blake hooking up on the bottom when it matters. Battle for the lead through 3 and 4. Side by side. Give it to Grandy at the line. Joseph Grandy swinging back here. Fighting oh so hard. They're side by side going down the backstretch. Blake Chapman moving and grooving down there. Give it to Joe at the line, but boy, was it close. Blake's got it going into 4. Joseph comes back with a big run on the top shelf. Blake just can't find grip off the bottom, and Joseph Grandy takes the lead back going into turn number 1. Side by side, back and forth. Blake on the bottom, 100 grand upstairs. Joseph Grandy still leads the way, 6 laps to go, as the gentleman holds firmly onto 3rd place. Clay Christopherson makes his move, is able to get in the top 4, but went back side by side for the lead. Blake trying to find moisture, plenty going down the backstretch, but here's where he's having trouble coming off of 4. Joseph Grandy, like a hurricane on that top shelf, storming by the 20. 4 laps to go. Who's gonna give? How can they keep nailing this lap after lap? Caution flag waves, and Blake's gonna put his hands in his head and wonder what he's gotta do to get to the front here as he was turning it on. Joseph fighting off, and caution flag waves for the 6th time here at the Huset Speedway. Scott Ray and Rick Main involved here, I believe. The 444, keep an eye, gets that right rear in the wall. That's what we've seen all night. Well, same thing from Rick Main in the back. He wanted to copy the 444, does it all by himself. Easy to do here tonight. Drivers just getting in that throttle, trying to straighten the car up too early, bounce the right rear off loop around. And caution waves one more time. Down the front stretch here, we'll see the Steve King Foundation pace truck lights come off. We're gonna have a 3-lap shootout here to the finish, possibly a green-white checkered. As I'm gonna mute myself, I'm gonna sneeze. Man, there's 5 inches of snow on the ground outside, and somehow I can find a way to sneeze. I don't know how I do that, but the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 3 laps to play at the Huset Speedway. Great restart for the 518. Blake with a good run on the bottom, though, through 1 and 2 before Joe could get that thing up to full speed. And do we have a new leader at the line? Give it to Blake Chapman with 2 to go. The salesman coming out of nowhere here with a great run on the bottom through 1 and 2. He takes over the lead as Joseph Grandy, possibly blinking, maybe lagged out, who knows. It's got the gentleman in P2, but the final time through 3 and 4 for the salesman, Blake Chapman, as he gets it done at the Huset Speedway. The gentleman P2 and Clay Christopherson rounds out the podium. Tough break for the 518 of Joseph Grandy, who I believe possibly lost connection there in the closing laps. But Joseph was looking good up top. It was a great run from those two. Treated to a great start here for your Flatline Racing Bodies hometown heroes. Gonna see if we can't find us a nice green flag run here. Go talk to the boys. See if we can get Clay Christopherson up here with us. Shouldn't be too long getting up here. He's no stranger to getting interviewed by me, that's for sure. He's got 2 of the 3 just waiting on putt-putt. He's just calmly getting his way into the room here. See here, we'll give him another, say, 20 seconds or so, and if he's not up here, we'll pull up Jack Hitt and start our interviews with second place here, which may be what we end up doing as I try to stall a little longer for Clay. And I know as soon as I pull Jack up here, he's going to show up. But, hey, that's a game we're going to have to play. No Clay yet. So we'll pull up the gentleman here, swap cameras. Jack, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Hey, Jack, you got a copy?
Can you hear me?
Yep, got you now. What's going on, brother? Oh, I heard you say, can you hear me? But now I can't hear you, Jack.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you.
I can hear you.
There we go.
Okay.
So how you feeling tonight, Jack? It seemed like you had a quick race car, but in the later stages, it just kind of didn't go your way. And the 518 and Blake just seemed like they had a little more left out front.
Yeah, I don't know if I was burning it up too much trying to run different lines or whatnot. I tried the bottom, though, on that last restart and very quickly realized I didn't have whatever Blake had. So can't be mad about second, though.
No, and we saw a racy racetrack here tonight. You know, I mean, we've seen Blake kind of dominate in that bottom other weeks, but it seemed like the track aged really well tonight, and you could even run that middle line if you needed to. I mean, did you find it easier to pass tonight than other nights?
Yeah, I mean, I've liked this track the whole season that we've had it, at least here with midgets, and even Monday was a pretty good time. But it's tight, obviously. It's very technical, but I think you can have some good racing.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Jack. Way to kick off the night with a podium. Congratulations on the P2. Who you want to thank, man?
I got to thank you for putting on the broadcast. Got to thank the other 21 guys that came out tonight.
Yeah, big field,
biggest
man.
car count. Yeah, hell yeah. Let's see if we can do that again every week the rest of the way.
I know.
through.
Shame on my teammates for not being here. I said that at the beginning of the broadcast because right there is 25. If 3 of them show up, shame on them. I'm gonna get on them about it.
Yeah, I missed last week because I was a little distracted by a Chili Bowl, but I saw Spieth was in the podium shot, so I'm sure the others were out here too. But yeah, maybe we can get a B man going next week. Let's see what happens.
Well, hey, like I said, great job tonight, Jack. Look forward to a lot more of these. Good luck the rest of the night, brother.
Thanks, man.
That's the gentleman, Jack Hitt, your P2 finisher. And now we're going to bring up the man who finished P3, rounded out that podium this evening, Clay. You missed qualifying. We saw you get out there. You just ran out of time. Had to start in the back of the heat. Slowly work your way up a little bit. But, man, come feature time, up 10 spots. That thing was quick, man. How you feeling?
Honestly, I don't know because I don't know what I was doing most of the time. I was just kind of driving it like a big block, just kind of turning a direction and then just messing with the throttle. And these little things are pretty fun here, though. I have to be honest.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, it's not, I guess, I would say, well, you know what? Let's ask you. Do you think it's a little more technical than a big block, or is the big block a little harder to drive?
Yeah, because these things are so snappy. When you leave the corner, that's kind of wherever you're pointed, you're kind of dedicated to go that line. So if you come out of 1 or 2, or coming out of 2, if you're pointed like at the infield, that's where you're going. It's pretty hard to correct these things on like a big block.
Yeah, and you know, when you're not used to running it, I mean, what goes through your head with what you just said? You see a guy in front of you, maybe angled up to come up towards you. Does that mean a little more responsibility relies on the driver behind?
Yeah, what I do like is you can kind of read if they really spear the car, and you can kind of tell they're going to be cutting down or sliding the rest of the way up. So it's easy to get your line ready on where to run. But I have to say, these things were a blast here. I'm usually not very good in them, but they were fun.
Well, hey, man, you look good in them tonight, up 10 spots. Definitely would love to have all you guys show up as a permanent fixture. These things are a lot of fun, and I love the big car counts. You put on a good show, and I'm telling you, the cautions will smooth out. People just got to get used to it because
it's a small track.
Yeah,
not much room to drive up the track.
No, and that's what I was going to say, Clay, for real. When you go back, if you would watch this, I think only one caution was because of guys getting into each other. It was single car incidents, a guy bouncing the right rear off the wall, just trying to push it too hard. So it definitely is a good racetrack, and it promotes a lot of good racing. But congratulations on the P3, man. Who you want to thank?
You guys for putting this on, all the guys at FTM and Swan Speed Shop for 358 and big block sets.
Well, hey, great run, man. And am I going to see you in the other shows here tonight?
Oh, yeah, I'm in here.
All right, well, give him help, Putt-Putt. I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you, sir.
Clay Christopherson rounding out the podium. And now we get to the man of the hour. Blake, I picked you to win this thing, but boy, you made me sweat, man. It took you a long time to get by the 518. Not sure what happened to him when you did go by. If maybe he lost connection or whatnot, or incident pointed out, did not know. But either way, Blake, you passed him, doing it the hard way on the bottom once again. How you feeling?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. A little disappointing that Grandy, something happened to him there. I think he must have lost connection. I think that was setting up to be a pretty good finish. But yeah, most of that race I was running the bottom there, and they were just killing me coming out of 4. I couldn't get anything going, so I moved up for a little bit, and I just wasn't very quick up there, so I decided to move back down. And I think Jack was a little bit quicker than I was when I moved up there, so I was hoping that he'd go around me. They'd start fighting each other a little bit for that top spot, but I was able to find the grip downstairs, and it was really tough to do if I didn't get the right corner entry, especially into 1, then it'd screw up my whole corner. But if I hit it right, I could get on the gas pretty much throughout the whole corner, and that's really what propelled me to the win here.
Yeah, were you a little surprised? I mean, I know he was committed to the top shelf, okay, but you know the deal. On the restart, these things aren't really wound up yet. Were you surprised to see him open that door on that final restart? Because, I mean, truly, I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I wasn't too surprised to see him stay up there. I mean, these things are so difficult to drive that, once you get in a rhythm in a certain spot on the track, you just want to keep hitting it until it goes away. And, he probably felt that his line was doing just fine, and it really was. Coming out of 4, he was still killing me coming out of that corner. But, I didn't really initially wanted to see the caution come out there, but it ended up helping me, so I'll take it.
No, man, definitely. It gave you another shot there, and well, I'm the first person to admit, I think I said on the broadcast that was pretty much it for you. I didn't think you stood a chance either when the caution came. I thought it was spoiled whenever you guys were racing. But, man, you proved me wrong. You start off the night with a win here in the A&J Custom Creations Midget Sprints. Who you want to thank, kid?
Yeah, I got to thank all the guys under the Krite Sim Racing team, especially Terry for running with me tonight. Fortunately, he had some tough luck. I got to thank all the Salty Dogs for letting me join their Discord tonight. Me and Terry popped in there. Shout out to Steve Maurer and Steve Bixler. Shout out Bixler on that second place performance there in qualifying. I think we'll be claiming that motor later. But, and of course, I got to thank the parents for watching. And I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and 88 AJ Custom Creations. Of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Valentine's Day is coming up. There's no better way to a woman's heart than some Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on every week, Shaggy.
Well, hey, man, you tell Terry. You know better than anyone. You had the bad luck bite you last week, but you got back up on the horse, man, brought home the checkered flag. Congratulations, and good luck the rest of the night, bud.
Thank you.
Blake Chapman brings home your feature win here in the A&J Custom Creations Midget Sprints. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with some 360 sprint cars here at the Huset Speedway. Stick around.
fans, it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get.
Tonight when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for part 2 of your Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes Wednesday nights. And this race is the 360s as well as the 410s, both brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Pivotal sponsor in the Coast to Coast Racing League, have been around for a long time and absolutely appreciate the support they give, and helps us get to show you guys all this good racing out here. And 71 of John Hine trying to find a way around the Bassman Roger Craig here as they run around and warm up. Gets into that front stretch wall. And Roger race side by side Now, we call Roger the Bass Man, but the professor there in the 71, you see Bass Pro in the car. The teammate works for Bass Pro, so got the Bass Man versus the Bass Worker. Guys rolling around. You see Devo behind him in the 5. Donovan Ross, always quick. Anytime you put something with a wing out there on the racetrack. B-Temp in the 31. He's quick as well. Your current quick time driver. There's still plenty of time to go. Track's going to age more. 22 drivers in the session. We should get ready to roll here soon, I believe. Earliest this one can start, if my mind corrects me, is 7:45, maybe even 7:30. Not too sure. I think 7:30 is when the session opens, but maybe 7:15, because some nights you guys were treated. If you go back and look, we've had some smaller shows in the midgets throughout the year, but having all those drivers, that was a nice treat. It really was. So let's see, is there another room? Any drivers on the racetrack in another room? I believe Brian Moore Sr. is out there. We're going to see him roll by, and then we'll grab him and pick him up. No, we won't, as the checkered flag flies. Warm-ups come to a close, and we're going to get ready for your 360 sprint car qualifying. Have to see who pulls out on the racetrack first. As whoopsie daisy, somehow the iRacing overlay popped up there. My apologies. He normally wins the race off. Didn't in the midgets, let it be known. The first time that I've seen. Oh no, does win the race off pit road. This time gets into the outside wall. Lap number 1's going to be gone. Let's stick around with the 31 here, lap number 2. Going to have to be perfect this time. Can't get into the outside wall. Only going to get one shot. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. B-Temp gets oh so close to that wall. Where's he going to time in? B-Temp P2 for now. But plenty of drivers still to qualify. Whoa! And Dino was one of them. He may have went for a wild ride after lap number 2. Just decided to scrap it. As Blake Chapman, lap number 1, takes the pole here at Huset's. Couple drivers still left to play, but look at that time difference. 0.2 of a second. Let's just show you. 11.57 to 11.8. I mean, Blake Chapman, he's not from this planet. Whenever we're at Huset Speedway, we may have to start calling him the alien on Wednesday nights here, because it is just, it is unbelievable. I would not be shocked if when the government admits to there being UFOs, we find out Blake Chapman was one of the ones they experimented on here, because you put him in a wing sprint car, he's just unbelievably fast, especially here at Huset's. We saw him get it done in the midgets, and you thought, man, that's impressive. But look at this here in qualifying. The only thing that he's really going to have to overcome here is this not even awful starting spot here in heat race number 1, but let's take a look at that starting grid. On the outside of row number 4, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross, and to his inside, the 789 of Cale Bixler. Row number 3 to the outside, the librarian in the 41, Pat Boyce, and to his inside, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 2 to the outside in the 20, the salesman, and to his inside, the 187 of Rick Main. Starting on the outside of the front row for heat race number 1 in the 79, Dean Reynolds, and to his inside, the 89 of Mason hit him with the hind. As we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to play in the clay at Huset Speedway. Heat race number 1 is underway. Dino trying to rip it on the outside right away, but he's going to see the tail tank of the 89, and Dino's got to live to fight another day as they're 3 wide on the inside. Rick Meade, he wasn't backing out of that. He stuck it in there, and he's ready to go to the front. Dino's trying to weather the storm, though. Beat down the outside wall. Can he power on by? Man, too close to call at the line, but give it to the 187 going down the backstretch. Rick Meade really letting it go here early. But man, as soon as I say that, Dino storms back. 3 and 4, you want to be on the top shelf. It's a case of what we saw there in the midgets. Dino with a big run on that top shelf. He takes the lead back at the line. Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. Rick on the bottom. Who's going to take it at the line as the white flag flies? Man, oh man, give it to Dean Reynolds. Dean is fighting hard. Going down the backstretch. They're even as they go into 3 and 4. The checkered flag's in the air. Give it to Dean Reynolds. Man, oh man, fought hard in that 79. And Rick Mayne coming home P2, Jeff Barker third, Devo coming in fourth, and Blake Chapman involved in an early incident rounding out heat race number 1. Kid's gonna have his work cut out for him here if he wants to keep the night perfect. As heat race number 2 gets set to roll on the inside of row number 4, the 75 of the mayor, Steve Bixler. Row number 3 on the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. And to his inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row number 2 on the high side, the 518 of Joseph Grandy. And to his inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row number 1 for heat race number 2. On the outside, the 19 of Joe Massau. And to his inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Man, I love to be enthusiastic, but boy, oh boy, Shaggy's voice may be paying for it here. We may have to take it easy. In heat race number 3, after this one, as the green flag's high, it's ready to fly. Heat race number 2, underway. The General Andy Patton with a great jump on the bottom in that 87, and me with a terrible camera switch as Andy takes the lead into 3 and 4. Brandon Templeton runs up over the hill. He holds on, but they're 3 wide behind the Desert Demon, trying to milk that bottom. But man, they are battling all over the racetrack. 2 by 2 by 2 here at the Huset Speedway. Mossau trying to do his Dean Reynolds impression. Pounding down that outside, looking for a run here on the top shelf. And $100 grand, he's ready to burn the place down. He gets pushed up the hill a little bit, almost 3 wide. Mossau does the smart thing, checks up, and I'll tell you what. Move of the race there for that 19, because he could have wanted that thing up. Smart move for Joe. Lived to race another day. And now $100 grand can rip down the wall. See if he can drive around the General. New leader, white flag flies. We go down the backstretch for the final time. Can Joseph Grandy hold on? He rips the outside. No problem. Checkered flag waves. Joseph Grandy wins heat race number 2. Followed by Brandon Templeton, Andy Patton, Joe Massau, Randy Shreves, Terry Landis, and Steve Bixler. As we take a look at our 3rd and final heat race for the 360 sprints here, presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. Rounding out the field in the 747, the Bassman Roger Gregg. Row number 3 on the high side, the 94 of Gary Offit. And to his inside, In the 71, the Professor, John Hine. Row number 2 on the top shelf, the 051 of Clay Christopherson. And to his inside, Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Row number 1 for your third and final heat race to the high side, the 44 of Jacob Mossow. And to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. As we roll that high side through 3 and 4, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're going to play here at Huset Speedway. 6 laps to decide where you're going to start in this feature. As the Moose pounds down the outside, looking to take an early lead here at Huset. Oh, he gets into that wall. Putt-putt, looking to make a run now. You see that teal machine creep into your picture. And Clay Christopherson looking to the inside. Here as the overlays are stacked. Shaggy just noticed, because I'm telling you, I don't look at it. I watch the driver's paints. My apologies. We'll refresh it for you. Oh, hard to the outside wall. That was Jacob Mossow as he lays it over. And Clay Christopherson looking to ride off into the sunset here in the 051. 2 popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go. Mr. Wednesday Night getting some company on the inside. Bob DeGood trying to fight back as we roll through 3 and 4. The Professor, he's got the best view in the house. White flag flies. Let's go on the nose. John Hine able to look to the outside here of Bob DeGood as the checkered flag waves. Clay Christopherson takes home heat race number 3, followed by Brian Moore Sr., John Hine, Bob DeGood, Roger Craig, Gary Offit, and Jacob Mossow. We're going to take another quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprints feature. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Rick Mayne at the top of the charts, Joseph Grandy P2, and Blake Chapman rounding out the top three here in warm-ups. Anybody who knows anything about dirt racing, that doesn't mean anything. Let's see where they stack up at the end of this thing. 25 laps to play here at Huset. So let's take a look here at our starting grid here for tonight's feature here in the Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprints. Rounding out the field on the outside of row number 11, the 20 of the Salesman, Blake Chapman, into his inside, the 44 of Jacob Mossow. Row number 10 on the high side, the Mayor, Steve Bixler, into his inside, the 89 of Mason, hit him with the hind. Row number 9, the 94 of Gary Offit on the high side, and to his inside, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. The 789 of Cale Bixler lines up on the outside of row number 8, and to his inside, the Bassman, Roger Craig. Row number 7, the 56 of Randy Shreves, and to his inside, the 41 of the Librarian, Pat Boyce. Row number 6 on the top shelf, the 7 of Bob DeGood, and to his inside, the 19 of Joe Mossow. Row number 5 on the high side, Devo Donovan Ross, and to his inside, the Professor John Hahn. Row number 4, the 87 of Andy Patton, and to his inside, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. To the high side of row number 3, Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr., into his inside, B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. Row number 2, on the high side, the 187 of Rick Mayne, into his inside, the 051 of Putt Putt, Clay Christopherson. Row number 1 for tonight's 360 sprint car feature, on the high side, Joseph Grandy, into his inside, Dean Reynolds, as the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to play. Dino storms off into turn 1. What kind of grip can he find downstairs? Here comes Putt Putt in the 051. As we try to zoom out here, we'll get a little better view. Racing going all around. 3, 4 wide there on the top of the screen. The General, the Brewerton Beast, B-Temp, and Mr. Wednesday Night all racing hard early. Dean gets a little shot from behind. The 187's got to back out of the throttle. Rick Mayne doesn't want to get into trouble here early, but if he looks down to his left, here comes that 31 B-Temp, Brandon Templeton, looking to storm. But Joseph Grandy up front, calm, cool, and collected, leads the way, 22 to go. And I'm going to make my pick here to win the race. Nothing against Grandy, but I'm picking that 051 here. Putt Putt, I think he's going to get it done. Long way to go here. Joseph's got a big lead. But Shaggy's going to go out on a limb here as Cale Bixler. He's got some damage on that right front. He's trying to get out of the way of the leaders. Able to do just that. Gets to the inside. No caution, though, as we roll on. Battle heating up. Dino starting to get into a rhythm up there on that top shelf. Looking to burn the place down. Can the 79 find some grip and work his way on up to the 518 of Joseph Grandy? You know what? Let's hop on that roll bar. Let's watch him. Look at behind the 79. Here comes Rick Mayne. He's coming back looking for some more. That spotter better hop on Dino's horn. Let him know what's coming. It's going to get wild. Rick to the inside. Can he get a run through 1 and 2? Can't get it done. As I believe, yeah, the Brewerton Beast trying to find a way around the General, Andy Patton. Jeff Barker trying to run around the bottom, and look behind him. Up 13 spots already. Blake Chapman, move on over Jeff Barker. Blake to the inside. Ken the Salesman. Man, oh man, all contact. Rolls on, Jeff lifts out. Him and John Hahn get together. John's got to roll on the bottom here. He's got to try to find a way around the Brewerton Beast. 14 laps to go. Is Joseph Grandy feeling comfortable out front? Calm as you know what. There he goes. Here comes Dean as Joe under no pressure whatsoever. No cautions here yet. I don't want to bring any jinxes, but man, oh man. Blake Chapman, boy, does he need one up into the top 5. The salesman's got a hot rod tonight. Can Blake get a little luck here? Can we see a car go around, or are we going to run this thing the whole way through? Putt looks in that rearview mirror. He sees Blake getting closer and closer. He's down there on the bottom, though, not allowing a lane. Blake's going to have to pick and choose when he goes for this move here. He's got to be smart. He's points racing. As Clay misses the bottom on entry. Terry Landis, he's down on the inside. Does he let his teammate go by? He does. He's aware. Blake Chapman, move on up one more. Climb the ladder. P4. Looks to the inside. Rick Mayne about to become the next victim as Blake throttles it up going down the straightaway. Rick tries to turn down. He sees Blake down there, and all of a sudden, move on over. Blake Chapman to the podium. Oh, Dino, he's gonna need help if he wants to hold on to this thing. He's got 5 laps to hold off the popcorn salesman. Meanwhile, all alone, the Inferno Motorsports man drives out of 4. 4 laps to go for the 518. Blake Chapman, he's on up to P2. He's got the job done. Now he just needs an early Christmas present as Joseph Grandy maneuvers around lap traffic on the high side. 3 laps to go. Can the A&J Custom Creations Inferno Motorsports 518 hold on? Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 trips around the sun. White flag getting ready to be displayed here. We see it wave. Only 2 flags we're getting tonight are the green and the checkered. Final time down the backstretch. Joseph Grandy rides off into the sunset, and he's going to take home your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Car feature, followed by one of the most impressive runs we've ever seen. Up 20 spots, green flag, the salesman P2, and Rick Mayne rounds out the podium. Putt P4 and B-Temp rounding out the top 5. But boy, oh boy, did we get an amazing show here for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Sprint Cars. Or what? I mean, impressive. We saw, guys, you're able to move that thing up. If you can hook it up on the bottom, you're able to drive around the top shelf if you're willing to get right against that outside wall. And, well, that's exactly what Joseph Grandy did. Took advantage of starting on the front row and made the move early. Never looked back. Joseph Grandy, your winner here this evening. Is let's pull up the 187 here of Rick Mayne. Rick, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, man. What's up?
Well, man, how you feeling, dude? I know it's a sim, okay, but we got our direct drive wheels. All those green flag laps, man. How the arms feel?
Oh, dude, I went to the gym today, so I'm a little pumped up.
Well, man, you drove like it. You're able to finish on the podium. And, I mean, if not for a late run there by Blake Chapman, maybe looking at P2. But just talk to us about your race. I mean, most of it, you're looking at the back of the 79, trying to find a way around him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I felt like I had a little more pace than Dean, so maybe I could have got up there and raced with Grandy, but I could not find a way around him. And in these fixed setups, I cannot make the bottom work the way I can in the open stuff. So, yeah, kudos to Blake. I don't know how he does it in the fixed. I got to run some more fixed races, I guess, to figure that out. But Yeah, I mean, I'll take a third. I don't even feel like I should be up here. I mean, I burnt the tires off trying to get around Dean, and those guys started going around me as I was trying to make the bottom work after Blake got around me. But hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, now, Rick, man, you're one of the best sprint car drivers we got. There's no doubt about it. And what goes through your head whenever you look down to the inside? You know, I mean, clearly, you know the deal. You're a little quicker than Dean, but you said it yourself, tough to find a way around. And what's the frustration like when you look down and you just see a guy rip in that inside, able to go by the both of you?
Yeah, I mean, I tried. I don't know. I don't know how he's entering or where his wing is on the fixed or whatever however he's making it work. I tried diving in deep. I tried letting off easy. Yeah, I literally don't run any fixed stuff except when I come to race this with you guys on Wednesday. So I just not familiar with how the sets work, but he has it figured out. That's for sure. Blake's fast on the bottom.
Yeah, we're going to have to put a bounty out for that telemetry. I'd love to be able to watch that for about 20 minutes and learn a couple things. But, hey, great run, man. You're able to bring home a podium. And I don't know. I mean, are we going to get you to stick around here for the 410s? I mean, you got a lot more power. You'll be able to rip down the outside in those. We going to entice you to stay?
Yeah, I'm gonna run the 410s. See how we can do in that. But yeah, I just wanted to thank all my guys at Inferno, my boys over at Hinkle Homes. We just partnered up over at Inferno with EPI, so got to give them a shout out, even though it's a fixed race. You know, we're doing a lot of good things with them. So thanks everybody. Thank you guys.
Well, hey, hell of a job, Rick. Congratulations. And this definitely won't be the last time I'm talking to you, man. Good run.
See you, Shaq.
That's your third place finisher in the 187, Rick Main. And now we're going to bring up the man who, well, he got one earlier, didn't think he wanted it, and it ended up helping him out. But Blake, man, you prayed to the wrong guy. If you got a caution, boy, oh boy, we might be talking to you late. How do you pass 20 cars green flag? Just talk to us about your race.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I wasn't expecting to get all the way up to the front, especially with no cautions, but we were able to avoid a pretty big one early. I think it took about 5 or so cars out, and there was no caution there. And I went up top just for a lap and didn't really feel very good up there, so I went down low, and no one was really hitting it like I was down low. I mean, I had to slow up just a couple of times for cars momentarily, but they weren't able to hold it down on the bottom like I was. So we were able to just keep it rolling on the bottom, and no one else was down there to really contest with us. So yeah, we were able to pick them off pretty quickly and make our way towards the front. Like you said, would have loved to see the caution come out once we got up to second.
Yeah, now obviously, you know, we're points racing when with a great run like this. I mean, they start you at the back of the feature. That's got to be that's got to hurt the rest of the field. You know, they put you at the back, you still get up there anyway. And I mean, man, what's it going to take to beat you here, kid? I mean, this is crazy. You know, we've never seen domination at a track like this from someone. And I mean, the fact that I seriously doubt you came in here and put hours and hours on this track. I mean, what is it about the track? What feels so right for you?
I don't know. I guess it just kind of fits my driving style. I really love it. You know, it seems like that bottom's always kind of there. You know how much I love to run that bottom, but you know that even when the top does get fast, I can hit it decently well, especially in 3 and 4. So I don't know. I guess I just really like how this track drives, and you know, hopefully here in this next one we don't have our computer freeze on us at the start of the heat.
Okay, that's what happened. I was gonna say I was like speechless during that. I was like, I looked and noticed just you were in the back. I didn't even know what to say. I thought maybe you're in a wreck, but damn. Okay, well, we're wishing you the best of luck here. Get that computer issue worked out, and before you freeze up again, man, I know you got some sponsors you want to thank. Great run.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR, especially Terry for running with me tonight. Got to thank the Salty Dogs for letting us join their Discord. Of course, I got to thank Andy at A&J Custom Creations and Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps. And of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. No matter the event, Galen's Gourmet Popcorn is always so good. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. And I got to thank you for putting this broadcast on.
Well, hey, great run, Blake. And, man, hopefully we'll be talking to you after these 410s. Good luck.
I hope so. Thank you.
Now we're going to bring up your winner here in the 518, Joseph Grandy. Joe, I mean, what? Been a while since you had a run like this. I mean, normally you get out front and, boy, it seems like the drivers behind can't behave. You get a caution that eats into that that huge lead. But, man, what's it feel like? Everything went right tonight. I don't know if that's happened for you yet.
It's a rarity, so it felt good, and I probably got all my good luck out of me for the next year.
Yeah, no kidding, man. I mean, and we're watching you right now. You're sparking a little bit going down the backstretch. I mean, even with that lead, dude, you're running hard. And what is it about you, man? I mean, I like to think I'm the same way, but not as good. I mean, how is it? You just can't turn that thing off, man. You always want to go quick.
Honestly, I just run my race, and I don't really pay attention to a whole lot. I run the same whether I'm in last or if I'm in first.
Well, consistency pays off. And Joe, I mean, you do well in the heat race. You start on the outside of the front row. You take that lead early. You never look back. Congratulations, man. Hell of a run. Who you want to thank?
Catalytic Recovery, West End Tone and Repair, A&J Custom Creations, Mad Rabbit, D&T Designs, EPI Industries. Like to thank all the guys at Inferno, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and you, man, for doing the broadcast.
Well, hey, hell of a run, man. And are we gonna see you in the 410s?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
All righty. Good luck here, Joe. We'll be rooting for you.
Thanks.
That's Joseph Grandy, your feature winner here at the Huset Speedway in the 360s. We're going to take a short break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be back with your third and final event of the evening, the 410s at Huset Speedway. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get.
Right when we talked about it.
outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. We're ready to go racing for the 3rd time here this evening's for your Flatline Racing Bodies. 410 sprint cars here at the Huset Speedway. Randy Shreves currently atop the charts. Brandon Templeton P2 and Brian Moore Sr., Mr. Wednesday Night himself. P3s, you see the Professor, the 71 John Hines sitting on pit road, Dino right behind him in the 79, and I believe that's Bob DeGood ripping around out there. I think Terry Landis may have been in the infield doing some donuts. I missed it. Sorry, Terry. I caught the end of it. As he pulls that Jeter machine into his pit stall, and well, we get ready to go qualifying here at Huset's. See if we can get my bar to come up for me. Probably not. And no, Shaggy, it won't. Even when you click that. Alright, well, hey. We're gonna watch Terry Landis here run around lap number 1. You pay attention to your screen, you get the qualifying information. Shaggy doesn't. It looks like I can peek over B10. Currently purple, but Terry Landis coming in lap number 1. They're all gonna look up the charts and see the Bass Pro Shop. 71 on the top of the charts for now, but Randy Shreve says, hey, John, it was nice while it lasted, but I'm going to park that 56 up here. I'm ready to roll tonight. Oh, man, I was looking for him. Well, we should have known. We should have known. 10-8-3, the salesman. 'Cause I'll take that, fellas. Blake Chapman, quick time here in his opening lap. Putt comes around. He's P6. He can improve. You see Blake, yellow. He slows down. And right now, the only guy yet to qualify. And I'm not sure what happened to him here. He wants to stop before he crosses the start-finish line, or he won't be able to reset and do another one. Or maybe Rick just wants to start in the back here this evening. No idea what's going on with that 187. We might have to start calling him Putt. I mean, look at that thing. Putting his way around 1 minute, 23 seconds. That's a pretty good lap time for the 187. He says that's enough. I'm going to call it quits. I think a 123 is good enough. He's going to pull it in the infield and Well, Blake Chapman, he's going to take quick time here for qualifying. Randy Shreves P2 and John Hine rounds out the top 3. Is 2 heat races here, only 15 cars in the 410s, and starting on the outside of row number 4 in the 518, Joseph Grandy, and to his inside, Blackjack John Tobias. Row number 3 on the top shelf in the 161, Terry Landis, and to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row number 2 for heat race number 1 on the high side, your pole winner, Blake Chapman, and to his inside, the Professor John Hine. Row number 1 on the high side, the 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds, and to his inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. The overlay's upset, so we're going to try to fix that for you guys. There we go. I don't know what does that. I literally just click a refresh button. If anybody out there is familiar with SDK watching this and you know the quick fix, feel free to message me, let me know, because reaching over and changing that on both screens, it's not definitely not the most difficult thing I've done, but while I try to ramble on, talk while it's going on, it's definitely not the easiest thing. That's for sure here. As we get ready, heat race number 1. Brandon Templeton brings us to the green flag. Great jump for the 31 here. Terry Landis looking to take over P3 early. He does, but your front 2 driving off after a little contact from those guys behind. And John Hine, he's the one who really paid for it. Finds himself running in the back as the front 2, they're set. It's time to party. Here comes Dino. He's ready to light the fuse. 3 laps to go, cross flags. Can Dino find a way to sling that thing around? Can Terry Landis get up and play with the boys? We're running out of time as we roll through 3 and 4. 2 laps to go. Brandon Templeton beating it down. He shows he's going to be quick tonight. Well, B-Temp's going to take home heat race number 1, followed by Dean Reynolds, Terry Landis, Joseph Grandy, Bob DeGood, Blake Chapman, John Tobias, and John Hine. Blake Chapman and John Hine involved in the early contact, I believe. Well, that's going to set them both back on the back foot here. Plenty of time to recover in a 25-lap feature, but it's not going to be fun. So we take a look at the starting grid. Heat race number 2, your final heat race of the evening on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. The 187 of Rick Mayne lines up to the inside of row 4. Row number 3, the 41 of Pat Boyce on the high side, and to his inside, Mr. Wednesday Night in the 055, Brian Moore Sr. Row number 2, the 56 of Randy Shreves to the high side, and to his inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row number 1 for your second and final heat race on the high side, the 051 of Putt Putt Clay Christofferson, and to his inside, the General in the 87, Andy Patton. As I am going to try to fix this for good here, because I am sick of having to do that. You're going to see it disappear for a second. We're hopefully going to see it reappear in a couple seconds as the green flag is high. It's flying. Andy Patton sends us off into 1. Clay Christofferson looking to beat down that top shelf. Here comes the 051 as the battle rages on behind. Rick Mayne blistered. Oh, contact between Pat Boyce and Randy Shreves. They live to continue here as Putt Putt takes the lead in the early stages. Clay Christofferson came to play. Jeff Barker holding on to 3rd, but the battle's behind him. Brian Moore Sr. It's got an inside full of the 56. And the RSR machines looking good. Can Randy Shreves? They make contact. Shreves to the inside, more into the outside wall. And the beneficiary there is Rick Main as he sees the C's part. And Moses moves on up to P2 as the white flag flies. One more trip around. Clay Christopherson looking good in the teal and white 51. Final time through 3 and 4. Checkered flag waves. And he's going to start on the outside of the front row for tonight's feature. Jeff Barker, P2. Andy Patton, 3rd. Rick Main, 4th. Pat Boyce, 5th. Randy Shreves, 6th. And Mr. Wednesday Night rounds out the field. We're going to take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be back with your final feature of the evening, your Flatline Racing Bodies 410. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, about set to get ready with tonight's final feature of the evening, the Flatline Racing Bodies 410s and Brandon Templeton. Currently, your quick time is... Wait, no chance. I didn't see... Very weird. I see the... I may have withdrawn. For some reason, the 55 of Steven Spees was showing up in my... on my warm-up list there. That was a little funky, but... Hey, let's check out the starting grid. Rounding out the field, the 71 of the Professor John Hine, and outside of row number 7 of 055 of Brian Moore Sr., and to his inside, the 21 of Blackjack John Tobias. Randy Shreves takes the 56 and lines up on the outside of row number 6, and to his inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. The Librarian lines up on the outside of row number 5 in the 41. That's Pat Boyce, and to his inside, the Salesman, Blake Chapman. Row number 4 to the high side, the 187 of Rick Main. Into his inside, the 518, 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. The General, Andy Patton, takes the 87 and lines up on the outside of row number 3. Into his inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row number 2 on the high side, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Into his inside, the 79 of Dino, Dean Reynolds. Row number 1 for your 410 Flatline Racing Bodies sprint car feature. To the outside is the 051 of Putt Putt, Clay Christopherson. And to his inside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton on the pole. As we roll through 3 and 4, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 25 laps to play at the Huset Speedway. Let's go! Brandon Templeton takes advantage of that grip down on the bottom through 1 and 2. Clay Christopherson tries to go back down there through 3 and 4, but B-Temp too tough to tame on the outside, and he leads lap number 1. Joseph Grandy trying to move on up through the field here, but he's got Rick Main to his outside in the 187. He's burning it down, trying to make room here. 3 wide in front of him is the salesman, Blake Chapman. On the move, surprise, surprise, started 9th, up to 6th. Can he get one more as he looks under the 87? Blake on up to the top 5 is Dino, hard into the outside wall. Jeff Barker, oh no, Joseph Grandy. He gets in, nowhere to go. He got funneled up as Dino tries to stay out of the way. But boy, oh boy, first caution of the night here in the sprint car side of things. As you see Dino, Jeff Barker does a good job of going down. Andy Patton and Joseph Grandy try to fit. Dino's up in the wall, just not going to work. Goes around hard into the outside wall. And Brian Morris Sr., he does a good job of getting around. Same with Randy Shreves. Close call for those two drivers. Brandon Templeton leads the way here at the Huset Speedway. Plenty of time for things to change, and maybe the salesman got what he needed earlier. Right now, gets a caution. He's up to 4th. So Dino gets into the outside wall, and Blake's going to look to shake off that that tough run in heat race number 1 and try to come back and put this thing on the podium. He's going to have to work if he wants to win this thing. That 31 got a lot of steam on the top shelf. Well, you know, Clay Christopherson, one of the best we've got here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. So you want to win this thing, you're going to have to work for it as we roll down the backstretch. The Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off. And B-Temp set to drop the hammer upstairs and bring us back to the green flag. 20 laps to go. He loses the right rear. Advantage 51. He takes advantage of B-Temp losing grip. And we got a new leader out front. Can Brandon Templeton find a way back around? Yes, he can. Clay with a little crossover. Can't complete the slider, and here comes the salesman. Terry Landis ready to join the party as well. Oh man, it is going to be a good one here at the Huset Speedway. Battle on up front, Clay. Oh boy, Blake Chapman makes it fit upstairs, but not without a little contact. B-Temp broken right front. Caution's going to have to wave as there's a parking lot in 1 and 2. Whoa, boy, oh boy. This starts coming out of 4. He gets into the tail tank of the 51, pushes up the racetrack. Blake Chapman Up there, he gets into the wall, and B-Temp runs over the rear end. Nowhere for him to go. Broken right front. The thing wouldn't steer, and man, oh man. Call the ambulance at Huset's. We got a big one in 1 and 2. See Templeton able to get a quick repair and get back out there, but still got a lot of ground to make up as the Desert Demon up to P2, Terry Landis. Could he steal a win here in the 410s? Could Clay Christopherson hold on? Could Blake Chapman spoil the party once again? And we got another big hitter. Rick Main, Brian Moore Sr. I mean, look at the top 5. This is unbelievable. You pick it. The lights are off on the Steve King Foundation pace truck, and we're going to go back green this time. 16 laps to go for your leader in the 051. Can he hold on here? Is the thought of the salesman running the bottom creeping into his mind as he try to hit it perfect? He drops the hammer. We're back underway. Good restart for Blake Chapman, able to drive right on under the 161, and then we're 3 wide for P3 for just a moment as Rick Main looking to complete the pass. Terry Landis says, hey man, I'm still here. He drives that thing through the center, right on the outside. Battle rages. But man, Blake Chapman going where he's never gone before here at the Huset Speedway. On that top shelf, he can do it up there too. The Alien taking the lead here at the halfway point. 13 to go. Joseph Grandy and Randy Shrees. Whoa, wild flip from the 518. And man, that was some net code. That was one of the wildest flips I've seen. I mean, don't get me wrong, it did not start with net the contact, but what I'm saying is the way the car was jerked down the racing surface, that was, well, they were already wrecking in the back too, so a couple different accidents. But let's see, just gets hooked on, and you see it yanks him down off the wall. And boy, wild ride for the 518 of Joseph Grandy. Let's see if we can go back and see the other incident. Brandon Templeton and Bob DeGood involved in this, I believe. Brandon down there on the inside, hits the berm, comes up, gets into the side of the 7. And him and Bob DeGood go for a little do-si-do. Andy Patton made it a 3-way, and 3 cars got to go to the road. As the lights get ready to turn off here, I believe, on the Steve King Foundation pace truck. Blake Chapman set to lead your field to the green flag and go for his 2nd win of the evening, 3rd podium. If he can find a way to hold off the rest of the field. Here comes Rick Main. Can Clay Christopherson find a way to battle on back? We'll have to find out here as they roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. Blake Chapman gets set to drop the hammer, and we're back underway here at the Huset Speedway. Blake with a great run. Terry Landis loops around. No caution for the Desert Demon as he rolls on. Where's the flag man when you need him? Tough break for the 161. Terry was looking at a top 5 before that. Now his teammate, well, he's going to have a little tear for him, but not too much of one here as he drives off into the sunset. Almost a 2nd lead over Clay Christopherson as Blake pounds down the wall here at the Huset Speedway. Brian Moore Sr. started 14th up the 4th. He's had a good, quiet race here. Moved his way up 10 spots for your hard charger. He's got two guys behind him trying to get him back. As Dean Reynolds, he has a little hiccup, gets him to the outside wall, then almost gets him to the back of Moore. And he sends it back upstairs through 3 and 4. Tries to battle back with Jeff Barker for that top 5. The Brewerton Beast looking good in the 513. Has a lot of speed downstairs. The Dino trying to make some grip where there really isn't. You see how shiny that track surface is. Dino's really got to step that right rear up there and find some grip as he battles back. 5 to go. They're side by side. Take a look at the leader. Blake Chapman, 4 to go for him. 1.1 second lead over this man, who's got a 1.1 second lead over this man. Top 3 spaced out, 1.1 in between both. There's 3 laps to go. Blake Chapman, he's ready to pop some champagne here. 2 sticks in the air, 2 more trips around for the salesman. Dean Reynolds able to get around Barker for that final top, or that 5th and final top 5 spot. But Blake Chapman sees the white flag wave, and he's got lap traffic in front of him. Here comes Clay Christopherson for a final move. He gets into the salesman. There's contact. Blake in the outside wall and putt. He's going to win your feature, Blake Chapman. He can't even get it across the line right now. Oh boy, Blake Chapman. Heartbreak of the night. For the 20 years we go back, we gotta take a look at this final lap here. So you see, this is what Clay sees here. Actually, this is terrible. Let me switch this up here. We'll go to the aerial so you can see Blake. He's got to deal with lap traffic. Clay comes with a big run. He sends it in. He clips that apron, and man, he just kind of moves the salesman out of the way. I know that's not the way he probably wanted to do it, but and you got to take it how you can get it. And Clay Christopherson gonna bring home your 410 feature. Oh boy, not without making an enemy possibly here. Give these guys a minute or two to catch their breath, and we'll see if we can't get a word with the 79 here of Dean Reynolds. As I believe, yeah, still no sign here. We just got Rick in there right now, so we'll see what happens. I see Brian Moore Sr. in there. Oh, okay. So SDK gave it to Dino. It was not Dino, I don't think. No, why did SDK give it to Dino? SDK is wrong. We're looking right here at the iRacing settings. So you see that Dino did not get third. Lost that battle by 0.6 of a second. There, so that makes more sense as to why Brian Moore Sr. is in here. We're gonna have to maybe dive into him. Close battle there for P3 at the end. Brian, talk us through it. I missed it. I'm gonna have to go take a look at it here as you talk us through it.
Well, don't look too close because I think I got into Terry a little bit there, and man, I gotta apologize for that, Terry. I sure didn't want to get by him that way. And I wanted, after I got into him, I don't know if he spun his tires or if he got a little sideways or what, but I wanted to lift and give it back to him. But, man, there were cars all over me, and I thought, well, I just got to go then. And I'm glad that I don't know what happened to him after that, but I hope it didn't ruin his night or his race. But
no,
yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of one of those things that happen, Brian, short track racing. And I mean, after going 25 laps green flag in the 360s, you guys had to be worn out a little bit, man. How you feeling?
Oh, fine. Yeah, that was fun though. Man, I started trying that what I call the Blake line now. Trying that bottom, and I think that's what got me up to I think about fifth. And then I think I got by fourth place running the bottom, and then I just, like I said, on that one restart, I don't think I was going to get by Terry there. He was running the bottom pretty good. He's a good bottom feeder too, so that was fun though.
Well, hey, man, with the nickname Mr. Wednesday Night, you had to make sure you got in here at least one time, and you're able to do that, Brian. Hell of a run tonight, man. Good P3. Who you want to thank?
Thank you, Shaggy, for your broadcast and putting this stuff on, and Coast to Coast. I want to give them a shout out, and who is a sponsor tonight?
Flatline Racing Bodies.
Flatline
Yes,
Racing Bodies. I got to give Devo and Gary a shout out, and my brother Rick, got to give him a shout out, and Rona. But yeah, it's fun, man. Still having a blast.
yeah, man.
Thanks, Shaggy.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun calling these races. You guys put on a great show. Congratulations, Brian, and I look forward to talking to you again, my man.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Wednesday Night bringing home P3, and now we bring up the man who finished P2. And, well, Rick, you go into that last lap, you're running third, you get a little present there at the end, but hey, man, I'm sure you'll take it. How you feeling?
Yeah, I was actually just asking Clay. I was like, man, what the heck happened? I honestly wish I wouldn't have tried 48 different lines to see if something was maybe faster and would have just followed him around the top. I would have been there, maybe to capitalize and get a win. But yeah, man, crazy. I don't know what happened. Sorry, Blake, if that was on me or if he was just broke or what. I don't know, but I got to test the front stretch fence.
Yeah, I think that thing was pretty well destroyed after that hard contact. I don't think he meant anything by it. But hey, man, sometimes you just put yourself in a good position and you're able to take it, just like you said. But looking back on it I mean, clearly, nobody wants to run in line and just milk the cow. Stay there in P3. And going back and looking at it, I mean, you said it. Maybe that's the move, but hindsight's 20/20, right?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just telling one of my guys earlier today when we were running that's actually my worst quality as a racer is I don't like when it's one groove and playing follow the leader. I always try other lines, and it costs me time on the track where, maybe if you stay patient for a few more laps, something like that happens, or your car comes to you a little better and, you can actually get a run and slide or something like that. But yeah, I got to work on that patience thing. I just hate following the leader, and I'm always trying different lines. So.
Well, hey, at the end of the day, man, bringing home 2 podiums tonight, and can't be upset about that. It's a good run for the 187. Congratulations, Rick. Who you want to thank, man?
Yep, just my guys over at Inferno. We're doing a lot of good things over there, running really hard. We actually just inked the contract this week. We're teamed up with Elite Performance Industries, so I got to thank them as well. Hinkle Homes, A&J Customs, Highline Cinematography, and D&T Designs.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Rick. Congratulations, man, and I look forward to a lot more of these interviews, brother.
Yeah, man, thank you.
187er Rick Main brings home P2, and well, now we bring up the man who brought home the checkered flag, but well, let's talk about it, Clay.
We can talk about it.
Big move through 3 and 4, man. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that speed difference. I didn't realize he had to slow down that much for that lap car when they made contact, and I was coming from the top, and when he made that contact, I was already determined that I was going to shoot down to the bottom. I was already pointing in that direction, and he went down too, but left a car, so I tried wedging it in there, and the line got a little more narrow, and I gassed up to try jackknifing it and correct it, but rolled up the mound a little bit and planted my right front on his left front, so wasn't planned that way, but I tried.
No, and I mean, what kind of racer you are, if you see a gap, you don't shoot for it. I mean, contact's going to happen, and you've been on the other side of it. Definitely not intentional. I can tell when somebody does it intentional. You know, you're just trying to make a move, make something happen. And well, Clay, you did. You took the lead through 3 and 4 on the final lap. Congratulations, man. Big win. Who you want to thank?
All the guys at FTM, you guys for putting this on, and Swan Speed Shop for 358 and big block sets.
Well, hey, great run tonight, Clay. 2 podiums. Congratulations, man. Look forward to possibly talking to you tomorrow night for a little Thursday Night Thunder action.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And that's your feature winner there in the 051. You know, definitely you could see, I mean, it's on him. And I mean, I think he owned that, you know, not the way he probably wanted to do it, but he sent it in there. He tried to fill the gap. It closed up. There's contact up front. And Clay Christopherson brings home the checkered flag for your Flatline Racing Bodies 410s here for your final race of the Hometown Heroes. If you're still here, thanks for sticking around with me for this long. And on behalf of all the admins here at Coast to Coast and your league owner, Roger Craig, we thank you for tuning in. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV saying have a good evening. Good night.